You're probably blocking your manifestations. Most people are. But I'm going to show you what to look out for. Welcome back to my channel, Closer to Your Higher Self. My name is Jerome, and I've been helping people transform their lives for almost 3 decades. I hope this video finds you when you need it most. If it resonates with you, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and share it with anyone you think could benefit from it. A lot of people talk about how to manifest desires, but not many people talk about the things that we do that work against creating the life of our dreams. And you need to know about these things so you can change course if necessary. And you're probably doing at least one of the things I'm going to talk about. In a past video, I talked about the first person to run the 4-minute mile. Now, after realizing it was possible, many people did it, using logic that says, if someone did it, it's possible. A lot of people would look at that and say, well, look at all the people that didn't run the 4-minute mile. See, all those people didn't do it, so I probably won't do it either. And interestingly, some of the smartest people do this. It keeps them from believing what's possible. They'll say things like, well, if we create our reality, how come this and that happens? Well, like I said in a previous video, most people don't know they're creating their reality. And what they call reality is a pattern they learned from their parents or caregivers, for example. I talked to a guy that said there are 105 males born for every 100 females, so he knew that he was destined to be alone because men outnumber women. Now, why focus on being one of the 5 instead of being one of the 100? If you want to run a 4-minute mile or open a small business, why are you worried about the people that didn't do it? Focus on yourself and not statistics. Don't listen to things like, well, you know, such and such a percentage of small businesses fail in the first blah, blah, blah. Which brings me to my next point. If someone doesn't support your dreams, don't tell them about it. You don't need someone in your ear feeding you statistics about this and that. There are only a small group of people in my life that know what I'm working on. And the rest find out after I've accomplished whatever it is I'm working on. And they'll say things like, oh, I didn't know you were doing that. And I didn't tell them because I knew I would not have had their support. Tell the people that support you, and you know who they are. Their positive energy will help to push you forward. And a lot of the people that don't support you think they're coming from the right place. It's because their mindset is such that you should just keep your head down and go with the flow. They're using logic against themselves. And some of those people are coming from a different place. They don't want you to succeed. If you're successful, they feel inadequate. So I was working with a client that wanted to lose weight. And after changing her mindset, we saw some real progress. And one day she tells me, well, my friend at work says it seems like I'm losing too much weight. And I've been here before, so I asked, well, what does this friend look like? And I knew the answer before she said it. She said, well, she's kind of heavy. And I told her, look, not everyone is going to be happy with your weight loss. They would rather you stay in the same place because when you move to another level, they aren't inspired to change. They feel like they've moved down a level. In manifesting your desires, it doesn't always happen right away. A lot of us give up too soon. If you really want something, you keep trying it. I talked to a person that said, well, I tried manifesting something for a whole year and it never happened, so I stopped. Manifesting doesn't work. Now, when I decided to learn to play the guitar, I was very excited. But if you've ever tried to play the guitar, you know that it seems impossible at first. Trying to get your fingers to stay where they need to be in order to form chords. It was very difficult. But I knew it was possible because I've seen other people do it. I just knew it would take time, and I didn't give up. Now, the person I talked to never said what they were trying to manifest, but they might have been just about to see some results when they gave up. To me, that doesn't mean manifesting doesn't work. They just gave up. And I'm sure you've all heard about Thomas Edison. He did around 1,200 experiments with over 6,000 types of filaments over the course of 18 months before he got the light bulb to work. 18 months. Now, where would we be if he said, well, I'm going to give this light bulb thing a year and then he gave up? We might still be walking around with candles. And worse than giving up too soon is giving up before you even start. This is when, instead of giving up too soon, you manufacture a situation in your brain that keeps you from believing in what's possible. After a discussion about creating your reality, this person said, okay, so what would you say to a homeless person that was watching your video from a tent where they were living, presumably on their phone? What would you say to them? Now, I know that this is kind of a rhetorical question. They don't want an answer. It's more like, so there, what do you say to that? But I answered anyway. I said, well, if that homeless person was able to watch this video, I would hope they would be inspired in some way. Now, they may have a longer road in creating the life of their dreams, but what's the alternative? Should I say, well, sorry, oh, you're homeless, there's no hope for you? I don't believe that, and I hope they don't either. Or the person that says, my life sucks and these terrible things happen to me, I'm poor, did I create that? Again, it's a rhetorical question. First of all, I'm not saying that you consciously ask for the things that happen to you. Many of us are creating our reality based on subconscious programs that we don't know exist. But why not consider that you have a hand in creating your reality? At least then you have the possibility of creating something different. But instead, they want to convince me that there's nothing they can do. And I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. Let's say you opened a coffee shop 6 months ago, and you've been trying to get it off the ground. A person that you know opens a coffee shop about a month ago, and it takes off. How do you feel? Now, it's normal to wonder if you're doing something wrong. But if you're jealous, or if you feel like the other person is undeserving of the success, or you have some animosity toward that person, you're working against your desire. Look at it this way. Those feelings of animosity and jealousy are now what's in your consciousness. Those things lower your frequency. And the things that those feelings attract are not in alignment with your successful coffee shop. I've seen people that are looking for a significant other get upset and jealous because their friend found someone before them. I've seen significant others be jealous of their partner's success. And these feelings are not helpful in attracting what you want in your life. Now, it's not just one thought that's going to change the outcome, but holding on to these sentiments over a period of time will certainly have a negative effect. You see, if you were holding on to the feeling of having a successful coffee shop, you wouldn't have the feelings of jealousy. That feeling arises because you feel like you're missing something or things aren't fair. The feeling of things not being fair for you can't coexist with the feeling of having a successful coffee shop. You should be happy for the other person. You maintain the frequency that's going to attract what you want, not to mention it lets you know that what you want is possible. Genuinely feeling happy for the person with a successful coffee shop keeps you in the frequency of having a successful coffee shop. Be happy for the success of others. And the last thing I'll talk about today is stop letting your energy leak out. By that I mean focusing on things that bring your frequency down. This is like having a hole in the foundation of your house. You have a hole in the foundation and cold air, water, mice, and insects will be able to get in. And while you're down in the basement fighting insects and cleaning up water, you can't enjoy looking out your windows at the nice scenery on your street. Now, how do you know something is causing an energy leak? because it doesn't feel good. Things like holding grudges or arguing with people in your head long after you've had a disagreement, wishing terrible things on your ex long after the relationship ends, and things like watching the news. Now, I personally dealt with this recently. Many times you watch the news and it can bring your frequency down. It can create this feeling of dread. And before you know it, you're not only thinking about the things on the news, but also all the things that travel on that same low frequency. You start catastrophizing. You're dreaming up the worst case scenario for every situation. See, the objective of the news is to get you so worked up about what's happening that you continually tune in. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be informed, but you have to realize that the focus is to scare you. And realize when it becomes too much. And take a break if it's keeping you from manifesting your desires. The frequency of fear is not a good frequency for manifesting. See, I knew someone in the news industry, and they have a saying, if it bleeds, it leads. In other words, the worse the story is, the more they want you to see it. Because getting you wound up makes you tune in. But if it's bringing you down, it's not helpful. So be aware of what you're allowing into your consciousness. And if it's having a negative impact, patch that hole. So the things you have to look out for: using logic and statistics against yourself, sharing your dreams with unsupportive people, giving up too soon, giving up before you start, jealousy and envy, and letting your energy leak out. Now, we're all learning and growing, so this is not to shame you, but to allow you to find these stumbling blocks and remove them so you can live the life of your dreams. Let me know in the comments if you've dealt with these stumbling blocks, or if you've overcome them. Tell your story. It can help other people. And if you got some value out of this video, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and I hope to see you next time on Closer to Your Higher Self.